McKinney Youth, and wanted to welcome you all for another great, exciting meeting. We hopefully everybody's doing well. This presentation today will last approximately 45 minutes, and this will be rebroadcasted on a variety of social media platforms shortly following, so it will be rebroadcasted as well. In case there's some data information here you'd like to share, we could definitely use your help and awareness. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Red Ribbon Week, the purpose behind it, and also what the coalition has been up to. But first off, I want to give you some statistics. There's a lot going on in society, and I know we focus a lot on a variety of issues, but one thing that we as a coalition want to bring more awareness to in our community is really one of the major hurdles or obstacles that harm our kids, our community, and families alike. So with that, let me just mention a few quick items. And this is from the Texas School Survey. The latest survey data is out of 2018. And the numbers are pretty stark, but it's not unique to McKinney, and it's not unique to Texas. In fact, this problem exists all across America, no matter what community we're in. So here's some numbers. 25% of 12th graders are regular users of an illicit drug. And that means that they've used at least once within a 30-day window. So that's 1 out of every 4. When you see our 12th graders, that's a pretty stark number. But 8% of 8th graders are regular drug users of an illicit drug. And again, that's also within a 30-day window. And that's really how the government and society now has evolved to looking at regular users. It's within a 30-day window snapshot. 46% of 12th graders are regular users of alcohol. 20% of 8th graders are regular users of alcohol. On average, 46% have used tobacco and 41% vape. Of those, and to me, this is the most important one. And this is, why the coalition's effort at focusing on youth. High school's great. We got to go there. We've got to go to the middle schools, but also elementary schools. This last stat I think is pretty stark. Of those who use illegal drugs, on average, 10% of those started in the 7th grade. So you're going to hear a little bit more today about the coalition's work, phenomenal guest speaker and what they're doing, and hearing at the federal level and an introduction. But I want to remind everybody about Red Ribbon Week. Just behind us, you'll see some of the signs. The coalition and our volunteers have placed well over 100 of these throughout the community. The McKinney Independent School District has been great in allowing us to post them. On those signs, they look like campaign signs, right? Great time to put them out. Hopefully folks see them as not a campaign sign, but really a message for youth and parents. It has our website on there. It says, take the pledge. At the bottom is the website domain of drugfreemckinney.org. You go there, you can sign up. Lana, who's a soccer coach and a mom, you're going to hear from her and the work that she's done in McKinney with this project as well. And then lastly, before Brenda introduces our speaker, Red Ribbon Week is coming up obviously next week. But what we always want to do as a coalition and members of a community is encourage all of us that we shouldn't focus on drugs just on this 1 week or this month. It really is a year-long effort, nonstop. Drugs don't take a day off when they're trafficking to our kids. Drug users don't really take a month off, right? And neither should we. So Red Ribbon Week was started basically through a very serious incident. In the 1980s, there was a DEA agent named Kiki Camarena who was in Mexico. And he worked obviously on drug issues. Well, during that time, he was kidnapped, he was tortured, and he was killed. This was during the Reagan administration. And it was a huge effort with the U.S. government to bring those killers back, but also a huge effort from that negative incident, which then created the Red Ribbon Week pledge to Just Say No, Nancy Reagan, and everything else that we have here today. So when you see the red ribbons out there, certainly it is about keeping youth off drugs. But historically, this started from a very drastic incident in America and Mexican culture that put drugs front and center for America. There's one book I'd like to recommend for you, those of you that are staying at home doing a lot of reading. This is called Desperados. It is a nonfiction book written by an investigative reporter, Elaine Shannon. I read this before I wrote my dissertation on drug cartels, And it's a great book that talks about the historical context of what our country is up against with drugs and drug cartels and activity that impact all of our communities here in McKinney and throughout Texas. And so with that, Brenda, I will turn it over to you.
Great information that you provided, Paul. We're excited to be a part of this community, and we're excited to do what we can to help prevent drug use with our youth. Paul, I don't know if you mentioned, but we have 4 kids. Some of you may know that. So to us, it's about our children, but it's also about your children and the entire community's children to prevent these things from happening, to prevent them from even trying any substances so they have a better future. Just a few technical items. If you have any questions at all during the presentation, feel free to use the left-hand column attendee chat. And at the very bottom, you can chat in questions, and we can answer those at the end of the presentation. If you can't see that, then you can go to the top middle of your screen, and you'll see a red question mark. You can click on that question mark, and you can ask questions from there. And I think okay, so Lana, let's go ahead and start the presentation, and then we'll come back to the Congressman once he is available.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm going to be discussing our program we've created for this Red Ribbon Week. It's called Take the Pledge. It's a youth program. It's targeting the youth. We've placed these yard signs throughout the community. There's about 100 of them or so. The youth can log on to drugfreemckinney.org with their parents and take the pledge. Those who take the pledge are entered into a raffle to win some free giveaways from Drug Free McKinney and local businesses that have sponsored our program. It's also a great opportunity for parents and children to discuss the issue of being drug-free. We've also launched a school campaign program. We've placed the yard signs throughout McKinney ISD School District. All the schools have signs in front of them. These are some that were placed. We also created a pledge based off the National Red Ribbon Campaign pledge that the students in the elementary schools will be taking with our local sponsors. And those who take the pledge and turn it back into their school, they get an envelope that says, "I took the pledge and won," along with a goodie bag full of Drug-Free McKinney giveaways. In the envelope will be some gift cards from the local businesses that support the pledge. Drug-Free McKinney has also donated Gaga pit balls as pledge prizes for the kids. And each school that participates in the program will receive a coach's kit for their PE program to support positive alternatives. Those were from Academy Sports. Also, as part of our school program through the elementary schools, we just shared the information for the National Red Ribbon Week campaign, where they are hosting a photo contest where the schools can win an iPad or $1,000. And it's a campaign where the schools and families can decorate their door or their school, take pictures, and send it to National Red Ribbon Week, and they will win prizes. So from there, I will send it on to Karen to talk about our social media.
Thanks so much, Lana. We've been very busy on our social media. We have created multiple posts that you can see on our next slide here that are on Facebook and Instagram on our coalition pages. We have highlighted the national initiatives, including the photo contest, a superhero challenge, and a mask contest. We have 2 there that you can see that are for Take the Pledge for the local McKinney movement. And finally, that blue post highlights the national logo, which is Be Happy, Be Brave, Be Drug Free. Our youth coalition has also been very busy. They have a platform called Nugs Not Drugs, and Nugs is a giant inflatable chicken. So he will be coming out and participating in some photo shoots throughout the community to highlight the issue of substance abuse and also to focus on Red Ribbon Week for our younger elementary school students. Nugs Not Drugs also has created several social media posts. So they have decided to focus on the issue of vaping as a youth issue. So they created some vaping posts and then also some general Red Ribbon Week posts. And they will be sharing a short video that is an educational vaping video for Red Ribbon Week that they will be putting on their YouTube channel, and we'll also be sharing it on our coalition YouTube channel. We're also focusing on National Prescription Take Back Day, which is coming up this Saturday, October 24th. And the hours are 10 to 2, and this is a great opportunity to dispose of unused prescription medications. We created 2 social media posts that focus not only on the day, but also identify the locations in and around McKinney where people can turn in their prescription drugs to be disposed of properly. So I'm going to turn it on over to Brenda to tell you more about how you can get involved in Red Ribbon Week and what we're doing in our coalition.
Thank you so much, Lana and Karen. Wow, they've been working hard and doing a lot with social media and getting out in the community, especially in the schools, both Karen and Lana, and working with the schools to deploy these Take the Pledge cards that we were discussing. And here, I don't know if you can, oh, there's a big glare. Anyway, we posted them up there, but these Take the Pledge cards, and we were able and fortunate to get many sponsors to donate items. There you go. Lana's got it. My camera light is too bright. So that's what will be going out to the schools next week, as Lana said. And we will have the kids take this pledge to be drug-free. It's a very simple pledge, but it's very symbolic and it means a lot. Once they turn in these pledge cards, they will be entered into the raffle like we discussed. And we hope to be able to deliver many bags, or at least multiple bags, to each school that's participating, and to make a kid's day, or make many kids' days with the prizes. We all love to win prizes, so that's always fun to do. So how to get involved. That is what we're talking about. If you want to go to the next slide, Lana. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so the Take the Pledge is for the children, however, the kids. However, if a parent wants to help them get online and put the information in, either the parent can type their name in, or the kids can type the parent's name in and then their information below. And I would encourage you, if you have an extra tab that you want to open while this webinar is going, if you want to go to our website, drugfreemckinney.org, and at the very top of it, you will see the writing, Take the Pledge. You'll click on that, you'll see it again, and then you'll click Take the Pledge again, and then you can see what we're doing. And we'd appreciate it if you're a parent, just even a community member, if you're on this call, just to go to it and see what it looks like, and encourage your friends and family throughout the community to go to our website and take the pledge. And you can also share it on social media, and we're going to put that in just a sec. But the other thing you can do is become a coalition member, and you can share that information with other family and friends to become a coalition member. So we're coming out of this crazy time in 2020, but once the crazy time is over with, hopefully soon, we will be doing more things in person. We've done a few events in person, but this will be on a larger scale, and that way our coalition members can do as little or as much as they want with our coalition. And really, it's reaching out to those kids and educating them by sharing our social media, sharing other great resources in the community, and getting that message out of the dangers of drugs and alcohol. And then you can email me at brenda@drugfreemckinney.org. Thank you so much. Let's see here. You're good. Oh, that's okay. It just went a little bit fast. And so the other item, I don't want to steal Karen's thunder, But she's been working to create a wonderful youth coalition within Drug Free McKinney, or Coalition for Drug Free McKinney Youth. And it's called a Say What Youth Coalition, which is coordinated with the state of Texas and their Say What program. And if you have a child or you know of a youth that would like to get involved in that and help in that aspect, feel free to email Karen. It's actually KARIN at drugfreemckinney.org. And I'm sure the computer probably just did that on its own. And then you can follow us. These are our usernames on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And I will also mention that the Youth Coalition, we have youth actually creating videos for us. And I think Karen might have mentioned that on the other slide. And then, Paul, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, just briefly. So when you look at the drug issue across America, there's a lot of really good programs out there that are targeting the 4 aspects. So now the 5 aspects of making the drug problem smaller, which includes education, prevention, treatment, enforcement, and recovery. So when you look at the whole drug problem, kind of look at it like a balloon, if you will. Where's the camera? A balloon. And what we're trying to do is to make that problem smaller. As a youth anti-drug coalition, we have 1 or maybe 2 parts of that, the prevention and the education piece. But we really have to make sure that we're also being aware and supporting all the other components. There's a lot of people that end up in recovery and a lot of youth. There are youth drug treatment programs throughout the North Texas area, which maybe we'll talk more about. But some of the more prevalent drugs that people are finding themselves as their number 1 recognized addiction for, alcohol is always going to be a big one, but marijuana is huge. Prescription drugs certainly, but when you look at the marijuana usage in this country in a number of other states and the types of marijuana that are out there and the potency, just to give you an idea, the tetrahydrocannabinol in marijuana, say 2-3 decades ago, was about 1 to 3% THC. Today's marijuana, highly potent, up to 80-90% potency in THC. If you want to just learn a little bit more, just Google the word dabs and then also put marijuana in there. Very high concentration, very high addictive rates. With our coalition, we work with about 400 to 500 other anti-drug coalitions around the country, and we network and we share information. Here in Texas, we can look towards other states right now to look at problems that they're dealing with on some of these major issues to try to do what we can here in Texas to prevent this from becoming a problem. So if you look at Denver, Colorado, for example, their youth marijuana use rates are very high, but so are the medical emergency room visits, the overdoses, which is possible on marijuana, is huge. And so in Texas, we certainly have a marijuana problem, but it's not outright in our face with people openly doing it on our streets as they're doing in those states, which then contribute to the homelessness, crime, and other issues. So what we're also trying to do from the perspective of a coalition and keeping kids off drugs, it's also community awareness and education. And look, we don't have to repeat some of the problems that we're seeing in other states. Our number 1 focus is kids. And unfortunately, there is not a lot of positive messaging overall that are targeting our kids today. If you think about it, when many of us grew up, there was DARE, there was Just Say No, right? But there was no such thing as Facebook and Twitter and all these other platforms where many of our kids have a presence. And so we know the school districts, McKinney Independent School District, for example, does a great job providing education to parents about how to be aware of these social media platforms. But it's not only to be aware. Look, we worry about our kids from sexual predators online, human trafficking online, which have got to stay front and center. But we need to do a better job as a community also talking about the drug and alcohol issue that is very prevalent and talking about usage and where to get it and glamorizing that use. Because us as parents, it's difficult. We're not on all those same platforms. In fact, many of us don't even understand these platforms like TikTok or others, but the kids, they know it very, very well. So what we want to do is not only talk about the overall issue about why it's important to keep kids off drugs, but educate parents about how to really monitor their kids. To give you an idea, McKinney Independent School District had done a program last year that I attended, and 2 or 3 McKinney police officers were there. They set up a room within the gym that looked like a kid's bedroom, and they taught the parents, what to look for when you go through your child's room. Where do kids hide drugs? What is the paraphernalia? What are some of the clothing? These are things that we need to be aware of, and it's an unfortunate, but it's a necessary part of being a parent today, especially addressing this issue. Other research out there is pretty clear. Families that eat dinner together and that have these discussions, their kids tend to have less drug issues as well. So it's not only telling your kids, not to use drugs, but the reasons why. One of the most important aspects for keeping kids off drugs is making sure that kids are not simply just going to school and going home, right? It's about extracurricular activities, whether it's soccer, various types of sports, church, clubs, organizations, that having kids engaged in a community aspect in addition to school, research shows is really important. And lastly, look, the brain continues to develop up until the age of 25, which is pretty remarkable. So certainly we're focused on youth, but we're also focused on young adults. And the work that we can do here as a model in McKinney, I think shows that if we can prevent youth from even starting the experimentation phase, especially at that 7th grade level where 10% then go on to become more casual or drug users, that is a huge part of our effort, because once we can show kids and talk to them about, they worry about what they wear on the outside, right? They worry about their clothes or their hair or their makeup or their shoes. But how often do we talk to them about the insides? What's happening to their drugs, their organs, their brain? So those are the conversations that you're going to see us to continue to have throughout McKinney. And we do appreciate everybody's support in working forward. Again, visit our website at drugfreemckinney.org. Lots of resources. We can utilize your support to help us.
All right. I'm about to put the congressman on. Just give me 1 second.
All right. Well, Lana and Jana, or Karen, anything else that you'd like to add that I might have missed, or you'd just like to give a plug for? No, I'll take that as a no.
That, or they don't have their mic on. Okay, well, that's good. I'm about to, let's pull up the congressman, and we're going to put him on the phone. And you can guide me to where our speaker is.
I believe it's that.
Hi there, Congressman. This is Brenda Chabot with Coalition for Drug-Free McKinney Youth, and I have you live on our call, and our viewers and listeners can hear you. If you would like to discuss a few things about what has been going on and any information about Red Ribbon Week.
Sure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Attendees, if you can chat in, let me know if you can hear the Congressman, Van Taylor.
Okay. Super. Okay. Well, I just thank you, everybody, for caring about this incredibly important issue. This is something that, I remember as a kid, the DARE program, something that we've always been concerned about, but just in recent years has really, really crept up on our country as an incredibly serious problem that we have as a nation. And just as a policymaker, when I was in the Texas legislature, I worked on passing legislation to allow Texas to make synthetic opioids and synthetic cannabinoids illegal by a scheduling process versus having a statutory change, which allowed local district attorneys to prosecute people for trafficking in synthetic cannabinoids, synthetic opioids that have not yet been scheduled as illegal drugs. And also in the legislature, I was really proud to have been able to pull a rabbit out of a hat the last minute, literally at 1:30 in the morning. Last bill out of the Texas Senate was a bill that actually created the prescription monitoring program for the state of Texas. has been an incredibly successful program because it allows a doctor to pull up prescriptions and see how many times a patient is trying to get a drug prescription, and then allows a pharmacist to see how many times someone's trying to fill that prescription. So that has led to a dramatic reduction in the number of legal opioids that were being put onto the market and abused. And in Congress, I've continued that work. I've joined there's a bipartisan opioid addiction caucus. David Trone, one of my good friends and a Democrat from Maryland, leads that up, and we've been working on things like increasing access to drugs that help people recover from their addiction. It's very hard to get a hold of those. We're trying to work on things like that, improving our programs, doing studies to determine the impact of different programs. So we've been working at the federal level, working at the state level, but at the end of the day, policy can only take you so far. What is mission critical, what we have to do is change the culture, and that's what you guys are doing, and that's why what your job is so important, and I would say more important than my job. It's in beating the tremendous loss of life, and how people's worlds have been rocked. When I think about the 70,000 Americans that were killed last year, it's not just those 70,000 people who died. There were families who lost their loved ones, usually in the prime of life, and maybe before their life had really even begun. I was very moved. Last year, I read a book called A Harrowing Puppet. I went to Harvard Business School. It was actually written up in the Harvard Business School Review, written by another Harvard Business School graduate. And this was a mom who actually worked in her child's school, was there every day, took her kid to school, took her home, was really on top of her, was a great mom, got her kid into Notre Dame, and her daughter died of a drug overdose. I mean, so you would think that everything was going for this mom and this family, but drugs can do that. They can absolutely destroy not only that young person's life, but that mother who is still grapples to this day with the loss. And so I just wanted to thank all of you for taking this incredibly important problem that our society faces, that has really risen to the fore in the last decade. It's really, really frightening how quickly and how dramatically it's affecting our world. And so I just am grateful to you for what you're doing to try to change the culture, because ultimately policy can only go so far, and you are absolutely where the rubber meets the road, and getting to the individual children and families and explaining how destructive and devastating drug addiction can be, and how it takes away some of our best and brightest before they ever really begin to get to contribute to society. So thank you for doing this. I'm honored to be here, and I appreciate everybody's patience in me working through the technical difficulties of getting on the phone with y'all. But thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Congressman.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We really appreciate you coming on and all the hard work that you're doing in Congress and getting policy and legislation passed to help the children of our future. Because as you said, it's all about that. It's about parents. It's about the community. It's about all of us working together, including yourself, taking that message to Congress and representing us like you have done already and done so well. So we truly appreciate your time and what you're doing with drug prevention, youth drug prevention especially. Thank you so much. And
one quick item, I just want to thank you and your staff for participating in our quarterly meetings. Your staff have been fantastic, very supportive, and we're also gonna deliver a Take Back the Pledge sign to your office as well, just for you to have one.
Great. Well, look, this is such an important mission for our country to beat back this terrible scourge of addiction, and it is taking too many from us and taking too much away from our country. And so, thank you guys for everything you're doing on the ground, because you're really what is most important.
well, thank you so much for your time again, and we look forward to working with you in the future, Congressman, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for everybody. We're so glad that we were able to have our guest speaker on. Thank you, Karen and Lana, for your great presentation.